Welcome back. I'm Curtis Smith. Master Gardener John Charles here in Albuquerque is going to share with us some of the questions he's been getting, some of the concerns people have gardening in New Mexico this time of the year. John, what do we have?
Well, the first item that we have is a lilac, and as you can see on this lilac, you can see that it's starting to leaf out.
It's the middle of the winter. You're not supposed to be doing that.
And so the concern or the question is this going to damage my plant if this thing continues to leaf out?
Yeah, this is not good. This has leafed out. Once they leaf out, they're not hardy. We can see this one over here already burned by the cold weather. And my guess is this is growing close to a house or a wall.
That's
facing
correct.
south.
It's growing against a wall that faces to the southeast.
South and west would be the worst places to put a lilac or a forsythia because they're very similar. This is going to start growing. This at least is a vegetative bud. It's not flowers that you're losing. Down here we can see some buds. These are potentially flower buds. They're swelling, but they're not so far out that they're at risk at this point. So if the cold weather will come and they'll stay dormant, but up against a wall, they're at high risk. So there's a real good chance that will come out and the flowers will be lost as well. Okay. And you've got some other things?
Yes. The next item is this plant, which I know as a privet. I believe it has another name.
The ligustrum.
And the questions on this plant have to do with the leaves. On some of these leaves, it looks like there's some damage.
Oh yeah, look at those pitting and such.
And you know, what is that? Number one. And then I've
old
got
leaves.
Old leaves. And then out here we have leaves that look really pretty healthy, and they show no sign of any damage. And I guess, is this normal?
This is normal. What we have, this is an evergreen, a broadleaf evergreen. It's a tough environment for broadleaf evergreens here. So we get some desiccation. Some of these cells in the leaf die. That gives us this dry, pitted appearance that we see here, just from desiccation. But it's something we see in the winter and spring on last year's leaves. These are late summer produced leaves. They're healthier, so they don't show that. They'll be okay. They'll begin to show it by fall next year.
Next year.
But it's not a major problem. And as I recall, the person who brought this also wanted to know about pruning this.
Right, that's correct. How would the proper way to prune this?
This has become tall and leggy,
Right,
and they would like to
right.
reduce its size.
Bring it back down. It has a poor shape and everything to it.
This is one that is possible, not always guaranteed, but possible that you can prune it back pretty hard and it will grow. If you've got some lower branches, cut it back to the lower branches. But if you've got trunks, it's going to be a little harder. But go ahead and prune it back. If it dies, replace it. But very often it's going to come out from that.
Okay.
We've got one more to look at too, don't we?
That's right. And on this branch that we have here, the question that we had was, first of all, what is it?
Okay,
what is this plant?
This is Elaeagnus pungens fruitland, which is a relative of the Russian olive, which is Elaeagnus angustifolia. But this is an ornamental shrub, fragrant flowers in the late summer and fall, and a common source of questions for the county extension office. You're asking the same question, aren't you? What are these spots?
Yeah, if you notice on these leaves, there's lots of white spots all over these leaves, and you can actually rub and those white spots come off.
These are just scales or hairs that are natural to the plant, give it an attractive appearance. And some people are concerned by looking at the back side, and there are brown spots over there. Are those bugs? And they're not. These are, again, the hairs or scales, and they're natural to the plant. Not a problem. This is another plant that may be a little bit of a pruning problem. It likes to grow very large, arching branches. You can trim it and make it very dense, and it's not quite as healthy that way. Actually, natural forms, large and arching. So you want to prune the branches out and allow it to do that, but you've got to plant it in a place where it has room to do that.
Okay.
John, thank you.
Well,
some interesting questions.
Thank you.
Common questions.
Right.
This is a real important thing to see. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Curtis.